Trigonometry lecture 7, bearing. Now, bearing can come individually as a question, or it can come through the trigonometry. Normally, it is with trigonometry. Now, moving on, what is bearing? A bearing is an angle indicating direction, indicating direction measured in clockwise from north. Clockwise from north. Bearing must be started as a 3-digit number, which means your bearing will start from 000 as in degree to 360 degree. An angle of 40 degree in bearing will be written as 040 degree. Similarly, angle as 70 degree will be written as 070 degree. So your bearing will always be in 3 digits. 120 will be normally written as 120. But what more important is that you need to understand for bearing, it will move from the north direction. It will move from the north direction. That means if I want to show that there is a line, that means there is an angle or point. Let's say a point B. And your north is on A. So what we can have is bearing of B from A. So that means whenever it says from that particular from, we use its north. And from that north to the line of B, that angle will be used. Considering, let's say this is 40 degree. So bearing of B from A will be 040 degree. So this will be the answer from bearing of B from A, which means from A means north of A. From A means north of A, and bearing of B means from north of A to the line of B, not to the point of B, to the line of B. Considering that there can be two north as well. Let's say that there can be two north. So which means it can have two points, point A and point B, and two north will be, one north can be on point A and the other north can be on point B. Now when you have 2 points, there can be two north, and remember this, that two north or more can be linked to parallel line. And when parallel line is involved, then the concept of angle properties are used. That means alternative property. That means it will create a Z. Corresponding property. That means it will create an F. And sum of interior property. Sum of interior angle property. That means it will create a C. But normally, what I've seen is sum of interior angle is used. and which means sum of interior angle will be in such a way that sum of interior angle will be used, and this sum will be sum of what? 180. So that means your two knots are equal to two parallel lines. From two parallel lines, we need to understand that alternative, corresponding, and sum of interior angle will be used. Similar way, your question can be based upon the knots. That means your angle can be asked generally an acute angle, obtuse angle. It can have obtuse angle. It can involve acute angle, and bearing will also involve your reflex angle. So this is 90 to 180. This is 0 to 90. And reflex angle is 180 to 360. Moving on, let's have this example question. Let's say we have A and B, and we have been given one thing, that is point A, B. So we know that there are two north in this. And the angle is given as, let's say, 120. The angle is given as 120. The question says bearing of A from B. Bearing of A from B. So now you need to understand this, that from B means north of B, and north of B means going towards north. So from north we will go clockwise. That means to take out the angle from north, we will go clockwise. And we'll go clockwise to what? We'll go clockwise to the line of A, not to the point of A. So if that means north of B, clockwise to the line of A. Generally, what a student think, bearing is from the clockwise till the point. Please do not do this. This is from the north to the line of A. Bearing of A from B means north of B to the line of A. And to get this particular angle, what we can see is, we can always find out that your two norths, this north and this north, are equal to parallel lines because they are moving the same direction. So that means these two angles will have sum of what? 180 degree. If this is 120, this will become 60. If one angle is 120, this will become 60. And the outer angle is basically reflex angle. So 360 minus 60 will end up having what? 300. So let's do the working for this. That means bearing of B from A is 120. Bearing of B from A, north of A, is equal to 120, right? So sum of interior angle is equal to 180. So to find out what acute angle of B, this should be 180 minus 120, sum of interior angle, which is 60. But to find out bearing of A from B, again, bearing of A from B not to the line of A. So if this is 60, this should be 360 minus 60. So we'll get what? 300. So that means we can write this thing down as bearing of A from B is 360 minus 60. So the answer of bearing should be 300 degrees because it is your reflex angle for this particular question. So let's just do an example question of bearing. Now we have been given, write down the bearing of A from O. O is the center point. A from O, B from O, C from O, D from O. So considering that A from O means we need to go clockwise from the north of O. And the north of O is this, and we need this angle only. From the north to the line of A. From the north to the line of A. So we already know this is 55 and we need this. Can we say this creates 90 degree? 90 minus 55. 90 minus 55 becomes 35. 90 minus 55 will become 35. So the first answer will be 35 because this entire thing is 90 and you need bearing of A from O. So this is the requirement. Clockwise from the north of O to the line of A. So this should be 90 minus 55. B from O. B from O means from the north of O, that means this line, to the line of B, I need this particular angle. Now we know that this is 66. Now we already know this is 66. So when we know this is 66, so this particular angle will be 24. 90 minus 66 will be 24. So since we know we needed the entire of this angle, so this is 90 and this is 24. 24. So 90 plus 24 will be 114. So that means the bearing of B from O will be 114. Then we need C from O. C from O means the north of O to the line of C. Now we know this thing that this is a straight line of north. This will create 180 degree. So 180 plus 75, we'll get the bearing of C from O. That means clockwise from the north to the line of C. So 180 plus 75 will be 255. So the answer for this is 255. Whereas D from O, so D from O will be from this point to this point. From this point to this point. We already know this is 90 degree and this is 85. So this angle should be 5. This angle should be 5. So if I want the entire of this angle, we can subtract this 5 from 360. So this should be 355. So considering the angles, since we wanted to have the answers for this, the first was bearing of A from O. We needed this. This was 90 degree. 90 minus 55 will be 45. So that means your first answer for the particular part will be bearing of A, which means 90 minus 55 is equal to 035 degree, because 3 digit is needed. So this is answer for your part 1, bearing of A from O. Then bearing of B from O. B from O will be, we already know that this is 90 degree and we know that we needed the answer till here, because bearing of B from O means from north of B to the point line of B. So this was 65. This was 65. So that means this was not 66, this was 65. So that means this will become 25. This will become 25. So if this is 25, 90 plus 25 will be 115. So let's just say that we have to first part will be 90 minus 65. The inside angle is 25. Then what we'll do is 90 plus 25, which is 115. So bearing of B from O is 115, whereas this angle is 25 because we subtracted from what? 90. 90 minus 65 is 25. And we needed bearing of B from the north. Then bearing of C from the north means from the north to the line of C. So that means from north, this is 180, 180 plus 75. So the answer will directly be written as 180 plus 75. So your bearing is 255. And for D, what we need to understand is we need bearing of D from O. That means this is your entire bearing required. So this entire angle is 360. If we minus this from 90, we can end up getting what? We can end up getting this as 5. So that means 360 minus 5 will be bearing of the entire clockwise of D from O. So what we can do is, to get this angle, this should be 90 minus 85. So this angle is 5. So to get the bearing, this should be 360 minus 5. So bearing is 355 of D, bearing of D from your north of O. So this was your part. Write down the bearing of this particular 4 parts.